Welcome to the Monday, March 4th, 2024 Madison County School Board meeting. This meeting is now officially called to order. If you have any public input, there's a sign-in sheet to the back door to the right of me. Will you please stand for a silent prayer and the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will now have a performance by the Madison County High School Band.
Mr. Ortega is the band person at the high school, and he will introduce her band. But what we're doing, we're in the process of continue on showcasing some of the brighter points of our district.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
First, I want to thank you all for having us here and showcasing what Madison County has to offer. Historically speaking, this county is very successful in sports, but we also want to showcase other highlights such as our music students, and I know our FFA program is very successful. So again, we just want to contribute to showcasing the highlights of our children and our students that we have that they work so hard. Just want to showcase what the band did this past Saturday. The band went to concert in PA in Tallahassee. It's an event that the band attends every year in order to get any feedback and comments from judges on how we can improve our performance. And we received an overall excellent rating, which is a step up from last year. So, and the kids, they played super well that day, and I'm very confidently, can say that that's probably the best group I've worked with so far. So the only way to go from here on out is up. Now, the two students I have that will have the privilege to perform for you all today, one of them's a senior and one of them's a freshman, and they both went to the district's own ensemble event, and with the selection they're about to perform for you guys today, and they received an overall superior rating, which is the highest accolade you can get in an event. And because they played a grade 5 duet at the district level and scored a superior, they will represent our community at the state solo ensemble event down in Panama City. So today, before you have Ms. Abigail Salteras and Ms. Layla Peavy on the flute.
Can you pronounce the last girl's name? Layla?
Salteras.
The other one?
Peavy. Peavy.
Okay, thank you.
invite you all in attendance to our band spring concert. It will be held at Vantage Priest Auditorium on Tuesday, May 21st, starting at 6 o'clock. You'll get to hear not just these two fantastic students, but the entire band. Will showcase the jazz band, a little bit of the drum line, and a little bit of the individual performances too. So again, thanks for having us here, and we hope to see you all on May 21st.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job, ladies.
Thank you, ladies. We're going straight to our agenda, and on the agenda, 2.1 amendments to the agenda. There are no amendments to the agenda, but we will be pulling 5.3 from the agenda. Now we will go straight to adoption of the agenda. You've looked over the agenda. May I have a motion and a second, please?
I move to approve the agenda.
I second.
It has been moved by Board Member Carroll, second by Board Member Knight, that we approve the agenda. All in favor of, show your hands, please. Unanimous decision, Ms. Bishop. Number 3, public comments. Comments from the public. We have Mrs. Salters. Salterius?
They were just
They were
signed
just
in.
here for the band,
They just
yeah.
performed.
he signed in, yeah.
Okay, so Mrs. Williams? Okay, thank you. Okay. Will you please pass that down to Ms. Bishop? Item number 4 on the agenda, consent agenda items, 4.1 minutes.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been properly moved by Mrs. Carroll, second by Mrs. Gibson, that we approve the consent agenda. The minutes on the consent agenda. All in favor of, show your hands, please. Unanimous, Ms. Bishop. Item number 5, items for individual considerations. They are personnel changes, field trips, updates to, we're going to pull 5.3. So the safety plan, travel, and supplements. Item 5.1, personnel changes and volunteers. Mr. Kidnesworth.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
This evening, I have one name on the personnel changes as far as a resignation, and that is Mr. Stevens, effective 3/29. I also have for substitute teachers, I have 2 for substitute teachers and then 1 for sub-custodian. For after-school tutoring, I have 3 names, and all 3 of those are at Greenville Elementary. Those are grant funded. And then our visitors or volunteer list, I have 2 pages of that. One has 7 names on it, and again, all of them have the school site and then the disposition as to what capacity they're going to do at the particular site. And then I have the second page that has 2 names on it. So really all together there's 9 that are on that we're asking your permission this evening. And I think that will do me.
Thank you. You've heard the personnel changes and volunteers.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the personnel changes and volunteers.
Second.
It's been moved by Mrs. Thompson, second by Mrs. Gibson, that we approve the personnel changes and volunteers. Questions, discussion? There be none. All in favor of? Unanimous decision.
Thank you.
Thank you. 5.2, field trips, Ms. Joseph.
Madam Chair, I have 3 field trips I'm bringing before you. One for Pinedale Elementary, 3rd and 4th graders. They are asking to go to Tallahassee on April 9th. That's paid for out of their UNICEF funds. Madison County Central School kindergartners are asking to go to Tallahassee Junior Museum on March 8th. That's also paid for out of UNICEF. And Madison County Central School first graders are asking to go to Challenger Learning Center in Tallahassee on May 3rd, and that's also being paid for out of UNICEF. Those are your 3 field trip requests.
Members, are we going to approve them all in one lump sum, or are we going
Yes.
to do them individually?
All in
One?
one.
Okay, thank you.
I move to approve the field trips.
Seconded.
Been moved by Mrs. Gibson, second by Mr. Carroll, that we approve all field trips. Discussion? There be none. All in favor of? Unanimous, Ms. Bishop. Okay. 5.4, safety plans. Ms. Rose.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm presenting the safety plan on behalf of the district as well as Mr. Rod Williams, because when we were talking with our insurance company, Fizbit, they said that if we had a generic safety plan in place that was board-approved, that talked about things like personal safety, what would you do to avoid confrontation, what would you do to call for an emergency if somebody else got hurt, that kind of generic responsibilities and that kind of information is all pulled together into a form, into one safety plan. It is not to be confused to be the environmental safety plan. Totally separate, more like you would have at each school, so that your custodians and your staff and your food service all knew things to look for that all become part of our workman's comp claims. So this is a way to try and help reduce some of those claims.
Okay. Thank you. We have reviewed the safety plan. Any discussion, questions concerning the safety plan?
I think it's just all about the proper way of doing things safely.
Yes, ma'am.
That's basically what's,
When we have a motion and a second.
I move to approve the safety plan.
second.
Who was that second from?
Gibson.
Okay. It has been properly moved by Mr. Carroll, second by Mrs. Gibson, that we approve the safety plan. All in favor of? Unanimous. Travel, 5.5, travel, Mrs. Joseph.
Madam Chair, I only have one staff travel request, and that's for Ms. Cherry to go to a Visions meeting in Jacksonville on April 8th through April 11th, and this will be paid for by B's reimbursement for us. So that's not coming out of our general fund either. That's the only trip.
Okay.
I move to approve the staff travel.
I second.
Been motion by Mr. Carroll, second by Mrs. Knight, that we approve the travel plans. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0, unanimous. Okay, 5.6, supplements, Mrs. Joseph.
Okay, in light of our students being safe and we treating all our kids fair, and we just being professional in our way of doing, there has been a need for us to make changes in our coaching staff in the middle of the year. And at the beginning of the year, the top two, they were approved for the full supplement, but they're ending their tenure as coaches, and so we need to pay them out for the time served, and we're replacing them with other personnel. So the top two, they're being, one was terminated and one resigned. But they're not with us on the coaching staff anymore, and so that will pay out the contract because we want to be fair to everybody. They did do some coaching, they did, that's the portion of the contract they have used, and the bottom part is the balance of that one supplement. We're not putting anything extra in there.
Okay, this is, in other words, there's an additional assistant softball coach. That's not extra?
It's not an additional softball coach. I'm removing two,
Oh,
I'm replacing
so
two, and one is being moved up.
Okay, so
But
we
it's-
already had two assistants then?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this is not, okay, just making sure. We're not
Okay.
going to add anything to it, okay.
One's assistant softball coach and one's assistant baseball coach, and we move our assistant up to the head coach
Okay,
at one instance.
okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I need to declare conflict of interest and recuse myself from voting on this matter due to a familiar relationship with the assistant baseball coach. Matt Thompson is my husband.
Oh, okay.
Madam Chair, I move to accept the supplementals.
I'll second it.
It's been moved by Mrs. Knight, second by Mr. Carroll, that we accept the supplements. Any other discussion? Mrs. Thompson has accused herself. Ms. Knight?
No, I thought you were doing both. I'm ready.
Oh, okay. All in favor? 4-0. Okay. Other items of interest to the board?
Okay, I'm going to be a bit lengthy tonight, but I would like to start off thanking Mr. Ortega and his band members for coming forth. That's a lot of work, and we appreciate them. And I'd like the people to know that we excel in a lot of different areas, academic, and we try to meet the needs of all of our kids one way or the other. Okay, one bit of good news, the school grade for the high school have been released, and the school grade at the high school is an official C. And the district come up with their C grade. And so that's official as of February 21st. A couple of items, other items. At your desk, first thing, we concluded our audit last week, and I need y'all to know, we come up with a fantastic audit. We come up with one minor finding, and that's fantastic for our audit. And our chairperson was there. We were trying to get the final papers in, but we'll get that to you. But that was a lot of hard work, and for us to come up with one minor audit, and we knew that was coming, and that was in the area of inventory, because when we switched over to Skyward, a lot of things didn't roll, and the person that's in charge of that is not here with us anymore. And so we're just happy that we are far as long as we are, and we understand the finding that we did get with the audit, with the inventory, but we're working on that. And at your table, I left you, no, let me go through this list. Okay, I need to congratulate the Madison County Central School for a superb Black History program and the behavior of the students. And the reason I'm singling them out, they've got a bad connotation about their behavior, but I was at that program the entire time, and that program was filled with 800 plus students, and the program was 1 hour long, and not once did I have to see a principal or AP pull a child out of a stand. So we know our kids are trainable and teachable, and our children know how to act, and their children will they will rise to the occasion when needed. You respect them, they respect you, and they know how to act, and that was a superb program, and the kids were on A-point behavior. Okay, the high school also had an outstanding career day. At your table, you've got your PM1, PM2 summary. You've got a district summary, and then you've got a summary by school of reading and ELA and math. Ms. Hill is going to answer any questions that you may have, review that. She's looking at the summary data.
Yeah, we put some graphs together for you. Actually, this was put together by Mr. Caleb Watkins. Mr. Watkins visits us once a month from the Just Read Florida office. He is our regional reading specialist who's been assigned to help our schools that are considered raised schools. And raised schools are schools that have less than 40% of their students demonstrate proficiency in the different subgroups. And so he works with Greenville, Central, and Lee because those three schools have subgroups that don't meet the minimum proficiency that they're looking for. So what these charts show you is we're looking at proficiency here. And if you look at the first one in grade 3, PM1, which is on the right, there were 13% at the beginning of the year that were proficient district-wide in 3rd grade. By PM2, we had that up to 32%. So a third of our third graders are now proficient. Fourth grade, you can see we started out at 14%, and it is now up to 23%. Not as big a jump, but still a big improvement. For fifth grade, we went from 14 to 22%. Sixth grade from 28 to 34%. Seventh grade from 19 to 25%, and then eighth grade from 26 to 31%. And so there are a few of those grade levels that have already gotten up to, above 30%. Our goal was to try to get to at least 30% by mid-year, so we've got a couple grade levels that we've gone back and we put some other things in place to try to excel them a little faster. They started a lot lower, so it's more difficult to make up the ground, but we're working really hard at it across the district. We feel much better about where we are now than we felt at the beginning of the year. And so I don't know if you remember, but this year, third graders their proficiency counts in two different cells on the school grade. And so they count double the amount they used to.
And they have the biggest gains.
And so that we're working really hard with third grade, working hard with all of them, but really focusing on third grade when Mr. Watkins comes to make sure that we, get those students up to where they need to be. Any questions?
I do have a question, and you may go over this in a little bit. Are you gonna go over this one? Is this percentages or number of students on the graphs? So I'm looking at, on mine, the first page is Greenville.
Right.
So those numbers, is that percentages?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, they don't have that many
Right,
students.
that's what I was thinking.
Yes, these are percentages.
Okay.
And so, you can see, what we really like to see is level ones,
Go
there being
down.
a drop,
Uh-huh.
and them going up to level
Yes.
2 or to level
Yes.
3. And so, we want to see those higher levels, those percentages getting bigger and bigger.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mrs. Hill.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I need to continue.
Go ahead.
Okay, another thing that you should have found at your desk, like we are an education institution, we're focusing on education. I understand the kids need to have some relaxed time, and so I put together a little guideline for field trips. We're not going to be going on a field trip one day and having a test the next day. Basically, say, yes, we allow field trips, but I need you in school at least 2 weeks. I'm not going to allow field trips 2 weeks prior to testing. And that's going to be school-specific, grade-specific, and so we're working with them. If they work with us, we'll work with them. So we have that in place. Now, I want to pass something down to you that I found interesting. This is an article from the Pineapple Report from last week entitled, "Let's Rip the Band-Aid Off Broward County Public Schools. Official Push to Close More Schools." And I just wanted to see the problems that we're facing. We're not in it alone. Other districts are facing the same dilemma. And another document I want to share with you, we have engaged Dr. Brown to do some work for us, and I'm sending out a draft timeline of the work that he's going to be doing. And so even though we haven't seen him that much in the district, he is working, and he's got extensive work ahead of him. Also at your desk, you received a copy request from Ms. Ritchie. She's asking for contribution for supplies for the senior walk. At the end of the conclusion of the senior walk, we usually sponsor a picnic, and we need funds to pay for that. Important dates, March 11th through 15th is spring break, and Friday is the last day of the 9 weeks. Something else that we're dealing with, you have tasked me with looking at ways to do some cost-saving measures. We do know that we are eliminating all those ESSER positions, not people, but with that in mind, we may have to lay off some staff. And the process for laying off staff is outlined in our contract, and especially, it will probably be non-instructional staff we have to lay off any. We hope we don't, but in case we do, in your collective bargaining agreement for your support personnel, it's on reduction in force on page 18, so we do have a document and a procedure for going by that. We don't just randomly say, hey, you're not here. We have a process in place.
May I ask, does that align with the board policy?
Yes, ma'am, this is the approved contract that's been voted on by the board.
Okay. I know the board policy states that it may not be done by seniority. It has to be done by,
That's instructional.
and non-instructional. There's a
Okay.
board policy for both. I just didn't know if that aligns with board policy.
We voted on it, when they present those contracts, we voted on it. So it does.
To the extent that the agreement conflicts with board policy, the agreement's going to control concerning the members of the bargaining unit.
Okay.
I haven't read it recently, and I prefer not to read it this second.
Okay, but I'm just telling you where it is. When we started, that's the process that we're using. We hope we don't have to use it, but should we use it, the document is in place. That's all I'm saying.
There are policies for both instructional and non-instructional.
And I thought that, wasn't there a statute recently too on that would supersede even an agreement, I think?
Our board policy states that it must be done based off their evaluation, not their seniority.
Yeah, but I think that was in response to a statute that said that. Anyway.
Madam Chair, that's all I have.
Thank you. Any other questions for the superintendent? Mr. Reeves,
No, ma'am.
board members, in any order? Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to thank Mr. Artiga. I'm very impressed with the band, and I will be at the next concert, and I go to every concert, and every time they're playing, I don't want to miss it. And I'd like to congratulate the girls on how well they did. I'd like to highlight some of the activities that have taken place in the last couple of weeks at all of our schools. Greenville Elementary and Madison County Central School celebrated Black History by having a program at their schools. It was obvious that the students worked very hard, and the adults, to give us such a good performance there, and I'm very thankful for that. Lee Elementary had a wonderful family literacy night. Many fun learning activities were provided. All the students took home a very large bag of activities and games that were provided by the school. A delicious spaghetti dinner was enjoyed by all. Pinetta celebrated Read Across America by inviting guest readers to read to the classes, and they also had a walk-in history program where the students dressed up as a famous person in history, and it was very enlightening, very interesting. Madison County High School had a very successful career day. I was very impressed with all the many representations from the different communities, from our community. They set up stations for the students to visit and gain information about possible careers. And the annual spelling bee contest was held for 4th through 8th graders, and all schools were representative, and I want to congratulate all of them because they all were winners at their school. So I like highlighting our schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would also like to thank Greenville Elementary. I enjoyed their Black History program. I didn't go to Central's because I was at the high school for career day, and I enjoyed that as well. Lee Elementary did a wonderful job with their literacy night and the district spelling bee. I would like to congratulate all of our winners who will represent us. Our winner overall will represent us at regionals, and she is a student from Madison County Central, and so I would like to congratulate her. Also like to say congratulations to the concert band on their overall rating of excellence at the District 3 concert. And then I would also like to say congratulations to the Lady Broncos, the Bronco baseball team, the high school softball team, and the Madison County baseball team for great wins over Osceola, Perry, and Hamilton County this past week.
I would like to congratulate all participants in whatever they participated in. Thank you.
I really enjoyed the program at the Central School. And like Ms. Joseph said, it was amazing that when our speakers were speaking, you could have heard a pin drop in there. They listened, they followed along with their songs. It was really, really good. I enjoyed the program. I enjoyed the seeing the staff enjoy the program with their kids in there. It was pretty special to me. And then, I appreciate Ms. Salteris and Ms. Peavy for their presentation. Their playing tonight, it was really good. I enjoyed it. The band got the excellent rating at the competition. That's really good. I would like to ask Ms. Joseph about the staffing table for next year. When was that going to be?
Okay, on Wednesday, I will be meeting individually with each school, looking at where they are, and they have talked with Mr. Kilsworth, who's the personnel person, about their allocation and their projected FTE for next year. And on Wednesday, each one of them will come, we'll look at where they are, and next time we meet, I will bring that to you.
Okay.
But we are constantly doing that, and I'm looking at ways that we can conserve dollars, but yet adequately serve our students.
Yeah, okay. I know you had it on the agenda for, just in case we, for a while, and then you quit putting it on there. Oh, yeah? Okay, well, we'll let you stay with us today. But, it's just gonna come down to, we're gonna have to make some decisions for next year, I know. So,
We're looking at it, and it will not be a surprise for the principals there, because we're working with them. We're not sitting there and dictating, this is what you have to do, this is what you have, and let's work with and see how can we best use what's allocated to you.
I understand. I appreciate Ms. Hubbard. I talked to her about the committee that she was on back in the day with some of the stuff that they were doing, which is some real good stuff to help save money. And so I implore you all to look at that also. I think Ms. Becky sent us a copy of it. So.
I was on that too.
You was on that?
Yes.
I didn't see you on there. No.
One more thing to add to what Mr. Carroll said. Back when we had a couple superintendents back, when financial difficulties arose, which this has been going on for many financial difficulties, okay. They asked the employees what they thought we could do to save. And I felt like I was one of them, of course, in the classroom, that we were valued by asking, and they came up with some good ideas. So that might be a possibility. It's up to the superintendent.
Okay, we are going to do a survey, we're going to survey the stakeholders.
Okay.
Okay, that's one of the items on here, but we've got to create the survey.
Okay.
And we've got to look at the questions before we disseminate them. And I told you I'll be periodically bringing information back to you, but we have purchased SurveyMonkey. And so we're putting a vehicle in place to generate these surveys and be able to gather the information.
Okay.
So we're working hard on this.
Okay. That's good.
The committee that he was referring to, since we're paying Dr. Brown, I want him to take the lead, but I'm going to ask him about instituting that committee that put together those, and call some of those members back and probably some new ones, look at, to them to revisit that committee again. So that's gonna be in place soon also.
Ms. Knight?
I no need to repeat everything that's already said.
Thank you.
I just want to point out that we obviously have some great things that are going on in our schools, and our parent participation has greatly disappeared. Thank you, Ms. Hubbard, for continuing to be here. You know, I want to invite the parents to be as passionate about their kids' education and the things that are going on in this boardroom as they were when we were having town hall meetings, and continue to stay engaged. And thank you, Ms. Christie, for, you know, continuing to bring these volunteers to us and for the hard work that you're doing out there at Central School. I know that we just put our first set of mentors in place, and some great things are happening. I had 3 of them in my office today, so good job.
Thank you all for coming. May I have a motion for adjournment?
I think Rose had something.
I ask for a motion for adjournment.
I just wanted to give you an FYI about insurance, health insurance. We are investigating that and looking into companies so that we can come back with some good processes.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I move to adjourn.
Thank you.
And we've got an expulsion.
I said about 6.
What did you say?